Good morning, everyone. Uh, Thank you all for coming here, and thank you for being so enthusiastic about listening on how to innovate for humanity. I'm so happy to see you all here, and I hope you've all had your coffees and we are ready to go for this first session. I think this is the second session after the hall one, right? Okay. Anyway, my name is Samriddhi Pandey. I'm the founder and CEO of Defy Aerospace, and I promise to keep it very light for you all so that it's nice and graspable. Let's start. Okay, I'll start with a story with you guys. Uh, there are very few of us here, so just shout it out. Does anyone know who this is? No, no guesses whatsoever, right? Okay, this is the inventor of our most favorite thing, household thing, the mop. She is Joy Mangano. In 1960, Joy was so tired of bending down on the floor, just cleaning everything on the floor. She used to see her colleagues, she used to see everyone go around in hospitals, in lavatories, just cleaning dirty floors and breaking their backs on a regular basis, right? Uh, that's when she decided that enough is enough. I have a lot on my plate. I need to define innovate something which basically helps me not break my back every day. So she went ahead and she created the self-ringing mop in 1960, right? So, and this she created not just for herself, for everyone. At this point, she was not just thinking about how do I make a ton of money, although eventually she went ahead and she made like a ton of money. That's like the benefit that she got, and she now invents like a lot more things for our regular household things. She went ahead and she made this for everyone, right? So this makes me question, what is innovation? Very basic, right? What is the definition of innovation, right? So innovation is the process of creating new ideas, products, or methods that add value and solve real world problems, right? What does humanity mean then? We are talking about innovation for humanity. What is the meaning of humanity? What is the definition of humanity? The definition of humanity is basically the consideration of all living beings, generally humans, in the world as a whole. The consideration of all living beings, right? So, then what does it truly mean to innovate for humanity? What does it truly mean to innovate for humanity? It's that which is built to empower. That innovation which you build to empower. That which is built to last. Things of quality are always going to last. Things that is meant for the masses, that is meant for a lot of people, that is meant to impact a lot of people at the grassroots level, it's always going to last. The things that are meant to last. And lastly, that which benefits the planet and all its inhabitants, not just one species, group, ethnicity, or gender. Right? Are you with me until now? Everyone? Good stuff. Okay. So now, usually what happens, okay, now we think about all of this and we think that usually, okay, now we are thinking about humanity, we're thinking about the grassroots levels. Please excuse me, my throat is not that good, so just. Um, we start thinking about, okay, this is more about impact, this is more about doing social good, innovation for humanity, but along with impact, you cannot discount profits. You cannot discount the revenues that it's going to make, right? So innovation for humanity is not just for the social good. Innovation for humanity is for everything together, because whatever you innovate, you need to be able to sustain it for a long time so that a large amount of people can then benefit it. If you are not gaining money from it, you're not going to be able to provide that to too many people, right? So the first step to understand is that you don't just innovate for impact, you innovate for impact plus profit. Always remember that, right? Now, keeping this in mind, let's have a look at some stats of companies that are innovating for impact plus profit as opposed to companies that are just innovating for profit. We don't care about impact, right? We've seen what has happened in the industrial revolution, and we are in the middle of bloody March, and we are sitting at 32, 38. I'm coming from Bombay, so I've experienced 38, 39 degrees. It's ridiculous, along with the moisture levels. So it's ridiculous what we are experiencing right now. So as opposed to companies that have just innovated for profit, let's look at the stats of companies that have innovated for impact plus profit, right? The companies that have created their innovations based on impact, obviously that have also benefited in profits, give their shareholders 2.4 times higher returns. Amazing, right? Next is 78% of consumers, I mean, all of us, like to buy from companies that are actually involved in doing something good, that are no longer destroying the planet. The youth of today, they don't like to buy something from just plastic based companies. They want to see what the hell is actually happening, right? So 78% of consumers actually prefer to buy from companies that with a positive impact. And lastly, these companies have 44% higher customer retention rate. Can you believe it? So simply by thinking about innovating for humanity, innovating for impact, you are not just doing a social good, but you're also gaining so much for your business, for yourself, for your innovation. There are multiple ways of gaining from your innovation, right? So these are some of the very small stats that I'm showing you on the screen right now. Okay? So then let's talk about what happened when. Uh, Now, this is the background, right? This is what has gone on in my mind for a very long time. Ever since I was a baby, I always wanted to, build something. How am I going to help people? What is going to happen? And the impact plus profit thing that I told you, I was always for impact. I did not think that, okay, profit also should happen. That's until I started Defy Aerospace and I said, oh my God, I can't just focus on this. I need to have a lot of money. But at the root of it, at the crux of it, innovation that helps the masses, that helps people at the very grassroots level was very important to me. So when I was in the UK, I was doing my master's in aerospace vehicle design. Over there itself, I designed a particular drone that can go to about 150 kilometer and carry 80 kgs of payload. It was inspired by one of my favorite aircrafts, the B-2 bomber, and I was very excited about it. But obviously, I sat on it. I didn't do anything about it. I went on to work and I started designing the latest engines in Rolls-Royce. And when I was there in about 2020, when the world started seeing a very huge calamity, the pandemic, at the same time, my very favorite grandmother, she started experiencing severe blood loss and she needed A negative blood um, in a very small town near Varanasi. Now, this made me think, and I was in the UK, I was very frustrated, I was very scared. What is happening? How do I get to her? How do I bring things to her? And the doctor said, you have 4 hours to bring her something. And I'm sitting in the UK thinking, what the hell do I actually do? Somehow we found the blood, but the distress that it caused us, and my nani was lucky. That's why she got it, right? There are so many people who don't get things. This made me think that, okay, now I need to go back. I need to build this technology, tweak it so that it starts helping a lot of people. That's where the journey of Defy Aerospace began. Okay, so then I came back to India. I developed this. I now have 3 patents on the particular drone that I designed when I was in the UK. And when I did that, we also started figuring out slowly, that just transporting medicines or blood from one place to the other is not it helps, but it's not the root cause of everything. So I started pondering even more. I started questioning things even more. What's actually making people take more and more medicines? Why are we depending on medicine? So I went back into the value chain. I went to meet a couple of farmers. I understood that, oh my God, it's our food. So that's when I understood that we need solutions for the food that's now being overloaded with pesticides and herbicides. I understood that farmers need help with automation, farmers need help with technology. Through this, I came to the conclusion that how are farmers going to utilize the drone? There are not enough people to fly a drone. It's a flying object, right? It's not just like driving a tractor. It's not that easy. So then we decided to open a drone pilot training center. And we said we will train pilots to fly our own drones. So far, we have trained over 200 people in our drone pilot training center, about 100 women that have been trained. Thank you. In the drone pilot training center. This is so interesting. These are a few of my cutest participants. There were 12 women from Maharashtra, mostly from rural areas. They were not well versed in English. Yet, with the help of our instructors, they passed all the exams, became a pilot within 5 days, no failures whatsoever. So I'm so happy with these guys. Yeah, that's the drone that I designed, and it has 3 patents now. So that's where we are. And Now, keeping this in mind, I'd also like to take you through this one particular very real problem we had. About 2 weeks ago, I visited a few farmers in Punjab, and I spoke with them. And one of the very important problem that they were facing, like we usually assume that they have money, that the water problem or this problem or that problem. There are a lot of assumptions that we create about farmers. One very important thing that I got to know, that a farmer spends about 40% of their expenses on just eradicating pests and weed that grows. So I visited a few farmers that were growing high value crops like ashwagandha and stevia and all these things. The biggest problem that they are facing are pests and weeds. They are spending 1.1 to 1.5 CR annually just on eradicating pest and weed. Can you believe that? And on top of that, just to eradicate this, what they do, they go and they overload their crops with herbicides and pesticides. And that's what's coming in us. The farmer is losing money. The farmer is not gaining enough. The food is being loaded with pesticides and herbicide. The food is coming to us, and we are eating all of that, getting more diseases, and then going to the doctor and be like, I need medicine which is 1500 kilometers away, which I don't have access to. Do you see the cyclical problem? This is why we need technology. This is why we need to innovate for the basic root level of problems in this country. The pain that this farmer goes through, you want to innovate for that pain, to eradicate that pain, because only then it's going to have a very large scale impact, right? So now, okay, I've discussed with you about innovating, problems, and we're all smart here, we've understood, we're all coming from all sorts of backgrounds. We know that, okay, Samriddhi, you've told us, fine, we need to innovate for humanity. We bought it. You're right. But how do I do it? I know how to innovate. How do I start thinking? What are the basic points based on if they are tick marked? I know that I'm on the right track to building for humanity. What are the three basic points? I'm going to tell you just three basic points. Keep that in mind. Don't forget it, and you're sorted. The first one is empathy and not assumptions. Like I said, we assume that the biggest problem for the farmer might be water, because we've seen all these movies like Lagan and whatnot. So movies have influenced also our assumptions. And based on that, we think that water is the biggest problem. So what I would really request you to do is go to your customer, go to the consumer of your innovation and check what is it that they actually need. What do they need? What are they lacking? What is the biggest pain point that affects not just their business, but also their mental health? Because number one, that's the way that you'll innovate the best. The best innovation comes out from the pain point of someone else. Number two, when you solve the pain point of somebody, that's when your innovation will sell. So it's helping both your business and both your innovations, right? That is the first thing, empathy and not assumptions. Second is measure impact and not just profits. Many of us just resort thinking that, okay, I'm going to be building this. How am I going to sell this? How am I going to be able to, is this going to sell? Is this going to sell? Man, look at, are you really impacting somebody? Only then will you be able to sell, right? If it's not impacting anyone, it'll go like this, the graph will go like this, and then it'll plateau. What are you going to do then? You spend millions of dollars developing something that people are not going to use because it doesn't impact enough number of people. So I really request you to measure impact and not just profits. That is the second point, okay? And the third point is create ecosystem and not silos. Don't keep developing just, imagine if I kept developing just a drone. I just keep developing the drone, dependent on other people for flying my drone, dependent on other people for utilizing my drone. I'm not working with the consumer, I'm not working with the farmers, I'm not working with anyone, I'm just creating my drone. And then I'm stuck. What do I do now? Right? So I started creating the ecosystem around this. I started training the women. I knew that, actually, the real reason why we started training women is that these remote controllers that you fly the drone with, women's hands are more dexterous to fly these drones. It is such a nice thing. But just because it's technology, there's a barrier. It's technology. You need certain amount of mental capacity. You need to be something else to be able to fly the drone. No, these women were not coming from PhD backgrounds. They were simple women, and they were more able to control the drone in a better manner, and the drone was actually more stable because they were flying it. Did you know that cars were first built for women? It was first built for women. Women started driving it. The positioning of all your accelerators, the first accelerators and the first gears were all suited for women. So that's why this my point is that you please start thinking about creating ecosystem and not silos. Don't think in silos, right? So these are the three major points that I want you guys to remember before you start innovating anything. Okay? For impact plus profits for humanity. Okay? Now keeping this in mind, I want you to picture this. This picture is coming from an actual vision that one of the farmers told me. Okay, he said, Sampriti, imagine green fields where all my crops are growing in the most beautiful manner, and all the farming is being done from a room. I have drones for everything. I have drones for spraying, I have drones for weed eradication, I have drones for transportation. Everything is automated. I have irrigation system, I have moisture levels. I'm doing the entire farming from a room. The farmer doesn't have to go there in very heat. He doesn't have to think about, okay, what do I do? He doesn't have to waste too much money. There is automation taking care of everything. And that's what I want to leave you with. I want to leave you with this picture where technology is actually helping the evolution of us as a species. It's helping us evolve every supply chain that we can think of. So think about innovation from that perspective. Because in the end, what is technology if not for the sustainable evolution of humanity? Thank you so much, everyone.